Hello guys, welcome back to All About Fire Protection channel. In this video, I will discuss the standards in designing of aspirating smoke detector, and also I will give you the basics in using a software for flow calculation. But before we begin, let's have the recap of our previous video. First, when do we really need to have aspirating smoke detection system in a building? Is there a code that mandates this requirement? Many of us designers are still lost when it comes to consideration of early warning detection system, or the system which we call aspirating smoke detection system. Many people think that providing this system will end up a high-cost design. But if we are familiar with the features, benefits, and correct code standards or other reference, then it will be easier for a designer to justify providing this type of detection. In one of my video tutorials, I already discussed the reference from code when do we require a fire detection and alarm system. The only question now is, when do we need to consider early detection in our design as our detection system? In my example here in tutorial, the room that I considered to install ASD is IT room, or which we call server room in a building. You should note that in NFPA 75, which is the correct reference for fire protection of information technology equipment, it is mandatory to provide a means of early warning of fire, as stated in clause 9.21 of 2017 edition. It is mentioned in clause 9.2.2 that the ceiling level and below raised floor shall be provided with early warning detection system. It is possible to achieve an early warning of fire by utilizing a detection system like the aspirating smoke detection system. An ordinary addressable optical detector, even with features to change the sensitivity, may not fulfill the requirement of early warning. So now that we know some NFPA reference which tell us to install ASD, then we can start now with the procedures in designing. Let's take a look at the drawing. There are 6 steps in preparation of design, but before the steps, we should verify first how many voids or concealed space inside the room to be protected. In my example, there are 2 voids. They are room void and floor void. So we will now proceed with the steps in designing of ASD, or which we call aspirating smoke detector. First step is the preparation of floor plan layout. Don't show in the drawing all unnecessary layout which is not required to see in your design. Other trade like HVAC, electrical power and lighting system, sprinkler system, etc. will only be used for coordination purposes. In server room, as my example, the main equipment like IT racks and server location are required to be shown in the drawing. Show the dimension of the room. Second step, location of sampling hole, or what we call sampling point. Arrange the location of the sampling hole in the plan. It is common in server rooms to have a high airflow, since there is a special requirement from IT for the cooling system. It is therefore required for a designer to coordinate with the HVAC specialists to determine the airflow in the room. Once this is determined, you can now refer to the table in NFPA 72 2016 edition, table 17.7.6.3.3.2. In my example, I used the detector coverage of 23 square meter, which led me to use 4 meters sampling point spacing. Show the dimension between sampling point and from sampling point to the wall. Third step, location of detector. Propose the location of ASD. This is usually located near to the entry door This has to be coordinated with other trade for the confirmation of location. Fourth step, design the layout of pipe from detector. Before you design the layout, the type of configuration should be coordinated first with the manufacturer of ASD you are going to consider in your design. In my example, the manufacturer I considered is Extralis. In Extralis, there are 4 types of pipe configuration available. They are simple pipe, simple branch, H configuration, and multiple branch. Once the type of pipe configuration is determined, you can now start with the layout in the drawing. The layout should start from the detector up to the sampling point and finally to the end cap. In my example, I use the simple branch as the pipe configuration. Note, pipe support or pipe clamp can also be added and shown in the drawing for ease of installation. Pipe support spacing is recommended to be 1.5 meters, but also depends on the manufacturer's recommendation. Fifth step, make isometric layout. The layout from the plan shall be exact figure to be shown in the isometric layout. Make sure that the measurement from the plan layout is the same with the isometric layout. Sixth step, round flow calculation. Use the flow calculation software from the manufacturer. In my design, I use ASD from Extralis. That's why I use Aspire software. We will now proceed with the steps in using the Aspire software. First, run the Aspire software. Click on the project icon in the tree view and right-click to rename the project. In my example, I name it ASD Layout -1 Flow Calculation. In the right side of the project icon, tree view, fill out the information as necessary. Make sure that you change the enforced limit to NFPA if you are following NFPA standards. In my example, I considered NFPA, and the unit that I chose is metric. Right-click at the project icon and click Add Detector. Then the new detector will appear under project icon. Click on the new detector and at the right side under Properties tab, change the detector type which is applicable for your project. In my example, I considered Best the Laser Plus or Best the BLP. Click on the drop down and choose Best the BLP. Change detector name to server room similar to room's name. Under sensitivity objective, choose as per requirement. In NFPA 75, as explained before, for IT room, early warning of fire is required. In this case, we will consider NFPA EWFD in the drop-down list. Then we will use default settings for the rest of the option. Note, you will find errors under Calculations, Summary, and Sampling Points tab at this stage, since calculation is not yet performed. Right-click at the new detector icon and click Add Pipe. Ensure that the isometric layout drawing is open for our guidance. Type the pipe name. In my example, since I have 2 voids, I name it Room Void as my first layout to enter in the software. Then check the layout in the plan drawing to verify which pipe configuration is considered in the design. In my example, I considered simple branch, which is the same with the figure shown in Aspire software. Click simple branch icon. Pipe configuration window will appear. Enter all the required information based on the isometric layout. Click next. Pipe properties window will appear. Enter the required information as per your design. In my example, I didn't choose capillary, and I will use the default value for the sampling points and pipe configuration settings. Click the new pipe tree view. Expand the tree view. Check all the data from the right side of the tree view and match with the isometric by clicking on each section. Correct the distance from detector to the first bend and from first bend to the T. Make sure that the end cap hole diameter is set to 0 since in my example, I didn't consider sampling point in end cap. Once the data for each pipe section, both ceiling and floor void, are entered in the software, you can now run the calculation by clicking on the calculator icon from the menu. Check for errors. After successful run of calculation without any errors found, and once the maximum transport time is not exceeded, you can now generate the summary report of the calculation by right-clicking on detector icon and click IDP. Now you are done with the ASD flow calculation. Look at the image for the report summary. You now have your design drawing along with the flow calculation, which is required in NEPA 72 2016 edition as per clause 17.7.3.6.3. I hope that you find this video helpful. If you want more video tutorials related to fire protection, please comment down below, or you may send message personally to my official Facebook or another account which I also included in the description below. Please don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you will be kept posted of our latest videos. Thanks for watching.